We're building FocusFlow, an AI productivity app in SwiftUI using SwiftData, Firebase, and foundation models so users can generate smart productivity plans, save them locally, and sync them across devices. If you're learning SwiftUI and want to build real iOS apps with Swift, SwiftData, Firebase and Apple AI, subscribe because I post practical iOS tutorials every week. The first thing we need to do is to navigate to Firebase console. As you can see, the URL is here. And then we need to create a new Firebase project. So just click on create new Firebase project. Give your project a name. I'll just call it FocusFlow. Click on continue. And then we can just select default account for Firebase. Click on continue. So the next thing we need to do now is to create our Xcode project. We just create a blank one. I'll just call the project FocusFlow AI app. Click on next. We also need to retrieve our bundle identifier that needs to be used with Firebase. So just click on your General tab within Xcode and then go to your bundle identifier. Or click on Sign In and Capabilities. And then we can copy the bundle identifier from there. We'll need it later. The next thing we need to do is to return back to Firebase. Within Firebase, we can now add our app. Just click on Add App button. Select iOS. Give our app the name, which is our Apple Bundle ID. Just paste it there. Then click on Register App. And then we need to download the Google Services info plist. We need to drag the Google Services info plist from the downloads folder to your Xcode project. So you just move it and then drag it into the app folder, the FocusFlow AI app folder, drop it, click on finish. So we'll be using Swift Package Manager to add the Firebase dependencies to the application. So what we need to do is to click on Add Package Dependencies from the File menu. And then just type in Firebase-iOS-SDK. If it doesn't exist, you can type it in your search. Or you can copy the URL from Google and then put it in your search or enter package URL field. So because it already exists in my search, I can just select the existing one, which is Firebase iOS SDK. click on the add package, and then afterwards we have to do the same thing for Google Sign In iOS to enable the user to sign in. So just click on add package, and then it will attempt to download the dependencies from Firebase into our Xcode project. It can take a minute or two. For the target, you just select the target, which is Focus Flow AI app. Click on add package. And then we have to do the same thing for the sign in. And to ensure that the dependencies and the packages were downloaded correctly, we should go to Focus Flow AI app file, this one here, and then just type in import Firebase just to make sure that the libraries can be found, Firebase core, and attempt to compile or build your application just to see if it comes up with any errors or not. So it's built okay. Now we can just try to run it. It's not going to do much, but just to see that it's all okay and it doesn't crash. That's good. The app doesn't crash and it displays the Hello World template, which is in the content view. So that's good. So now we can continue with the rest of the configuration on Firebase. So to create our first database document in Firebase, we need to click on Databases and Storage, and then select Real-Time Databases, and then click on Create Database. Select your location. I'll select Belgium, Europe, that's the closest to me. Click on Next. For now, we just want to do it in test mode, but we can update that later. Yeah, that's the wrong storage. So at the moment, we should be using cloud storage. So what we need to do, click on database and storage, and then click on Firestore. And then we need to click on create database for cloud storage. Click on next for the standard edition. Select the location. I'll just select Europe. Start in test mode. Click on create. Yeah, that's the correct way. As you can see, before we couldn't create any documents, but now we have the facility to create a document. just click on the Start Collection. Name the collection Users. Click on Next. And then we can also click on Auto ID. And now we can add our attributes. So the first one is ID, which is string. The next one is owner user ID, which is string. We need to create another field, which is title, which is also string. Main go, which is string. And also total focus minutes, which will be number this time, which is int 64. We also need another field. So making sure we're in the right location. Yeah, just click on Add Field. So the name of that field is called Created At. The data type will be timestamp. Just select today's date, any default time. The next field will be updated at. Timestamp for the data type. The next field we need to add is deleted at. The data type will be null. The next field is revision. The data type will be int64 for the number. And then we also need a time zone ID. Which will be string. Another field that we need is called quick wins, which will be an array. And the final field will be productivity tips. Which is also an array. So at the moment we can't save the actual document, so maybe we need to include defaults. For the ID, I'll just enter plan. 001 that includes an underscore, and then for owner's user ID, I'll just enter the following. We just have to make sure that the default value relates to the data type. So for the title, I'll just use productivity plan. Summary text. Yeah, I think we missed out a field as well. I'll just add it now. Anyway, that's summary text. Which is string, and the actual text is a simple productivity plan. I'll just enter the default information for Mango for the default string. What else can we enter? Total focus in minutes. Includes the default already, which is 0. And I think another issue is probably we do not need these empty fields, so let's try to remove them. Remove this one as well, and this one. As you can see now, the save button is enabled. We're able to press it. So your design document should resemble this. So we probably don't need the defaults. Let's delete the defaults. I don't think we need it anyway. So let's delete those. Seems okay. As you can see, configuration sometimes takes a lot of time and it can be fiddly, but that seems okay now. Click on save, and our document has been created. So the next thing we need to do is to enable the user to log in. So what you need to do is to click on security and then select authentication, and then click on sign in method, and then we should see the methods that are available to enable sign in or sign up. So we'll be using email and password. Click on enable, click on save. We can also add a default or tester password, a tester user account, if you want to do that. The next thing we need to do is to head back to our application. And then we need to make sure that Firebase auth is also configured. So just try to import Firebase auth and then compile it to make sure it can be found. At the moment, it's coming up with some error, no such module, Firebase auth. So what we can try to do is to resolve it. Click on your project name such as Focus Flow AI app, and then click on General and Target. Scroll down to Frameworks, Libraries and Embedded Content. Click on the plus sign and then select Firebase Auth, or you can filter it if you need to. Firebase Auth. Click on it, and it seems like it wasn't imported into the project. As you can see, it's now within the project. So now, if we go back to the file, it should be found when we try to compile. As you can see, it's found within the code base. So now if I run the application as well, it shouldn't crash. And it displays hello world. So all of that is correct. And that's it. That's all the Firebase foundation in place. In the next episode, we'll make Focus Flow more production ready by improving how it handles dates, loading state, and timing behavior using clean, testable dependencies. So if you want to keep building this AI productivity app with SwiftUI, SwiftData and Firebase and foundation models, I'll see you in the next episode.